What is up, YouTube? It's Psychedelic Scizor, and I am here with my Week 2 team builder of the CPC D-League versus OmegaJolteon and the Chicago Carracostas. My matchup is kind of ass here. Not even going to beat around the bush on there. Mega Gallade absolutely destroys me. Going over his team, you can see it here on the right. His Mega Gallade, Thundy-Eye, Hydreigon, Milotic, Metagross, Sylveon, Diggersby, Arrow, Quillfish, and Gourgeist, with his users being Thundy and Arrow. So a lot of his team I'm not as worried about, but it's 3 mons that I can do little to nothing about. And that is... Mega Gallade absolutely shreds my team. Metagross, not quite as much, but still pretty badly. It's still really strong, it just doesn't have the speed versus me, so at least I can revenge kill that easier. And Milotic, I just cannot break. I don't have an electric type that is a problem, and I don't have a way of breaking it other than trying to muscle through it, but my mons that are good at muscling through stuff, like Terrakion and Lando, cannot switch in on Milotic, because Scald is going to absolutely destroy them. So, we had to get creative this week with team building. I put a lot of time into this. Shoutouts to Zayden and to Styx for helping me quite a bit with this team. They are the GOATs. But, so, getting into this, first we're going to see my kind of win condition / breaker, hopefully win condition, but how I play this is kind of going to depend on how the game goes. I'm going to have to evaluate my win condition mid and late game. But at least something that seems like it could be a pretty good win condition is this Mega Glalie here. Max attack Adamant with Ice Shard, Double Edge, Earthquake, and Freeze Dry. Max attack Adamant is to hit just as hard as I can so that Ice Shard can be taken out stuff like Hydreigon and Thundy with no issue. Double Edge just nukes a bunch of things neutrally. And I've got Freeze Dry to hit Milotic. It's still not quite a 2-hit KO, but after a little bit of chip, and especially if it's a Flame Orb set, which I kind of expect because I saw that in Mox, and it's just really good versus this team because it's so physically based. I may actually, if it's a Flame Orb set and it's already burnt, I may be able to 2-hit KO it after Rocks, just because it's having so much chip put on it by the Flame Orb. But that is the Glalie set. It is enough to outspeed just, I believe, the Diggersby. I could have outsped the Hydreigon, but I think Hydreigon is so incredibly unlikely to come. I think it's got a horrible matchup versus me. Azu shuts it down, Rabombi handles it pretty well, Umbreon shuts it down, even Amoonguss and Terrakion can take hits to a lesser extent. I just think there are so many better things that he can bring versus me other than a Hydreigon. The only set that I could maybe see coming is like a Stall Breaker set to kind of bait in and beat the Umbreon and Amoonguss, but even then, he's just got Mega Gallade to break him. He doesn't need to Stall Break him, he just straight up just bring in Gallade and just destroy him, so I really don't think that Hydreigon is coming. He has better options as far as breakers go. So I think Glalie, I was pretty safe to just outspeed Diggersby, and that did allow me to invest a little bit in special attack and run Adamant still. So this is a very powerful Glalie. Double Edge hits a ton of stuff on his team. To win, I just need to do a couple things. I need to chip the Metagross, because one unfortunate thing is I do have sticky webs on this team, as you see with the Rabombi. But Metagross needs... Actually, wait, I outspeed Metagross, never mind. It does need chipped, though, because your Earthquake does not knock it out. And if it carries Bullet Punch, which I need to scout for, it basically needs to be taken out then before Glalie can win, because Bullet Punch does a ton. It basically makes it so if I click Double Edge, I die. So, it's not a good thing. Metagross needs chipped, Milotic needs chipped, and if I don't get webs up, Gallade needs chipped into Ice Shard range. But Ice Shard is extremely good because most of his mons that are faster than me, 3 of the 4 of them are weak to Ice Shard, and that is fantastic. and I can avoid Diggersby's quick attack with Ice Shard, and that'll knock that out. So that's pretty nice. I like this Mega Glalie set. Initially I had spikes on it, because it's just going to be more of a breaker for me, but I never really was clicking spikes in my mocks. I wasn't even hardly getting this thing in to click spikes, so just kind of going full-on breaker win condition kind of Mon is the best option I have here. So that's Glalie. That's been talked about pretty thoroughly. Next, we got a Choice Scarf Terrakion with dual stabs, Earthquake, and a Rock Slide, which is also a stab, but it just generally does what a Scarf Terrak does. It revenges his team pretty well. My only complaint being it doesn't revenge Mega Gallade without a decent amount of chip, because it resists both my dual stabs, but for every Mon other than Gallade, it revenges very well. It's another Mon that I have to worry about Bullet Punch. This team is very Metagross weak if you look at it. It's pretty unfortunate. But Terrakion is a potential late game win condition depending on what he brings. And it does pressure most of his team. It's not like, and while I can't revenge kill Gallade very well, it's definitely not like Gallade can switch into Terrakion. It still does about 50% with close combat. And yeah, Scarf Terrak, pretty basic. There's not much to explain here. Next, we've got a Max Fizdef Lando with the Yachi Berry, pretty much straight out of Smogon, more or less. But it just kind of hits everything on his team. I absolutely needed to bring Lando defensively because it is my only even attempt at a switch in to Mega Gallade. I was initially running speed for like Metagross at first, but Mega Gallade is so goddamn strong that even with the Yachi Berry, it could still knock me out from like 70 or 75% if it was at +1. So because I still need to be at ridiculously high health, even with the Yachi Berry, I needed to make this thing just have as much defense as it possibly can, and that was really my only hope. The rest I threw into speed, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'll speed a Hydreigon or something. It's not really the goal, but yeah, Lando is extremely pressured this game, and this is contributing to the fact that why I'm so Metagross weak, because I really, unless I absolutely have to, I cannot be switching Landorus into Metagross, because if Metagross gets a little bit of chip off, then Gallade just has to click Swords Dance. Even when I come in and intimidate it down to +1, it still is going to knock me out with Ice Punch, so just I gotta keep Lando as healthy as possible, and it's irritating this matchup. Now that Intimidate works on Metagross anyway because of Clear Body, which is another irritating fact, but defensive Lando, it was just necessary this game. Moving on. We have got the Amoonguss here with the Payappa Berry, Spore Synthesis, Foul Play, and Sludge Bomb. Mixed defenses here. Mostly especially defensive Mon. It'll take on things like Sylveon. I guess it'll be my switch into Hydreigon if it comes, but again, I just think Hydreigon is very unlikely to come here. It's a switch into Milotic. Not that I really do much to it. We kind of get into a PP war, which, if he has Ice Beam, he actually wins that, annoyingly enough. But what the Payappa Berry and the defense investment is for is I can take a, what is it? I believe it's a +1 Zen Headbutt from Mega Gallade, and then by extension from Metagross, and then Spore it. So that's the hope that I can lure that. So one of those big threats, I can get one of them to come in on me, think they've got just a free Zen Headbutt to click, and then I end up sporing them, removing them from the game, getting my health back with Regenerator. Foul Play does 2-hit KO Mega Gallade pretty well, does a metric fuck ton to Metagross, and Sludge Bomb is there for Sylveon. I wish I could have packed Giga Drain or something to pressure the Milotic better on this set, but all these moves are pretty necessary. Sylveon probably beat me 1v1 if I didn't pack Sludge Bomb, and even then, like a Subcomb mindset, if played right, still kind of can. It's just, it's not ideal, but it's what I'm kind of stuck with here. This is I made some free agencies, I'm going to say that. I made some free agencies to help this team out because this problem with bulky waters is way too much of an issue. This is 2 weeks in a row that I've run into a matchup with a bulky water, and I'm just panicking on how the fuck I'm going to break this thing. But that's Amoonguss, doing fat stuff like it does. Next, we have got a Rabombi with Fairy MZ, Quiver Dance, Sticky Web, Moonblast, and Bug Buzz. Enough speed to outspeed the Thunderous, and the rest in bulk and special attack. I initially had Quiver Dance Roost as kind of a way to 1v1 the Milotic, and it sort of worked sometimes. The main issue is I can switch in on Milotic and start Quiver Dancing up on it. I can't if there are rocks up. Its Scald does too much when I'm not boosted, and I also can't keep rocks off the field because my only 2 defoggers here are Rabombi and Lando cannot afford to run defog or collect defog at all this matchup. It cannot defog. So we're kind of just living with this being a more offensive Rabombi whose goal is to get Sticky Webs up to help with the Glalie sweep. And I can still put some pressure on Quiver Dance. Fairy MZ will knock out a lot of things. It won't do jack shit to Metagross, and this is another one of those where if Metagross has Bullet Punch, it's really going to be a problem. If it didn't have Bullet Punch, then I could potentially sweep the Rabombi, and I'll have to scout for what his set is. Not that I have much flexibility to do that because my team is so Metagross weak. It's frustrating. I'm kind of frustrated with this team matchup. But that's the Rabombi. It's also a great revenge killer for OmegaJolteon, which I really need, because just OmegaJolteon is just a fucking problem. It is a really good mon. I still stick with it is overrated as a mon. It's fantastic, but it is overrated. I would not pick it round 1 personally. I think it's a very good early round 2 pick, maybe late round 1. But it's not like I see people drafting it, and within like the first 5 draft picks, and that's completely a waste. It is not that good. It's really good. Don't get me wrong. It's just not that good. I would not put it up with like Tapu Koko and Celesteela and that. But OmegaJolteon rant aside, that's Rabombi. Finally, the last member on this team is Gengar. Dual Stabs, Taunt, Energy Ball. He does not have very good Gengar switch-ins at all. Which is good for me, and this is kind of my best way of pressuring Milotic, because like I said, I can't really hit it super effectively. I kind of just have to muscle through it, and so Life Orb Gengar is kind of able to do that, because I am able to taunt to prevent it from recovering, and so even if, say, Gengar goes down, it will have done its job by getting the thing low, and the rest of my team doesn't really allow it to recover. Amoonguss might be able to a little bit, but there's a whole lot of scenarios that could work out, but it's absolute max speed to hopefully speed tie with OmegaJolteon and revenge kill that. And it's another mon that it's not weak to Bullet Punch, but it's pretty frail, and it'll take a lot from Bullet Punch, so Metagross is still annoying to this mon. But that is the team. I feel like I've been talking for a while, and 13 minutes, that's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. So, concerns with this team. Still, the dual psychic types, Gallade and Metagross, are still problems. Milotic is still a problem. And one thing I saw in mocks, but I really kind of just don't have the flexibility to address as well, is actually Quillfish. Because Quillfish actually does a lot of things for him that I did not expect. Quillfish is very good at getting spikes up versus me, because it can pressure out. It switches into Terrakion actually pretty well, and can come in on Amoonguss and set spikes up on it, and it's also actually good sleep fodder for him, because just it being there with Intimidate does a lot versus my team. But so Quillfish could also be an annoyance. Arrow just has an annoying speed tier. Other than that, I think I've covered everything pretty well. I've ranted about Metagross and Gallade for long enough, so we're gonna end it here. If you guys like what the Oaklandese Elves are doing, make sure you like, subscribe, share, do what you do with the YouTube videos. We get on out of here and see you guys later.